Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources and, well, really distill them down into the key insights you need. The goal. A shortcut for you to get properly informed on often fascinating topics. Today, we're diving into something you probably use almost every day, maybe without much thought: the global sauces market. We've got some great material here from Cognitive Market Research. Our mission for you is to get a handle on just how big this industry is, figure out where the growth is booming, and, understand what's behind this global obsession with condiments. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's a great topic because it touches on so much, doesn't it? Culture, economics, just daily life, really. What's really interesting is how something that seems so simple, like a sauce, actually reflects these really complex global shifts. We'll be looking beyond just the numbers, trying to get at the why behind it all.
Absolutely. And speaking of numbers, when we talk global sauces, well, it's serious business. Back in 2021, the market revenue was already $51.459 billion. That's a huge
It
figure.
really is. Puts things in perspective.
And get this, by 2025, it's expected to climb past $62 billion. And by 2033, they're projecting over $90 billion. A whopping $90.437 billion, actually. That's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of nearly 5%. 4.811% to be exact.
Wow. That kind of steady growth, it really does highlight this increasing, almost universal demand for sauces,
Really
right,
hope.
across all sorts of cuisines, cultures, different times we eat. It suggests sauces are becoming, well, more and more central to how we eat and cook everywhere.
Yeah.
Which does raise the question, doesn't it? What's actually making this demand so strong and consistent?
Good question. Let's see if the regional breakdown gives us some clues. Why don't we start with North America? It pulled in nearly $18 billion back in 2021. That's expected to grow to about $21 billion by 2025 and hit almost $30 billion by 2033.
Okay, so a major player.
Definitely. The U.S. has the biggest slice, naturally. It reported over $14 billion in 2021,
No.
climbing to almost $17 billion by 2025, and then projected over $23 billion by 2033. That's a growth rate of about 4.2% CAGR. And Canada and Mexico, they're significant too. Canada's looking to grow from roughly $2.4 billion to over $4.2 billion by 2033. Mexico from about $1.3 billion to over $2.1 billion.
So those strong numbers, especially in the U.S., they show these established markets are still dominant, sure. But what's really interesting is that they're still growing quite steadily. It's not just stagnation. It hints at, evolving tastes even in these mature markets, people trying new things.
Yeah, exactly. Like branching out beyond the basics.
Precisely. It connects to that bigger picture, suggesting shifts in consumer habits, more global flavors maybe, premium options.
That makes sense. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. How does it stack up? Its market was nearly $11 billion in 2021, $10.961 billion, and it's projected to hit over $18 billion by 2033.
Still very significant growth then.
Definitely. Germany's a real standout there. It's expected to go from about $2.4 billion to over $4.2 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of almost 5%. Pretty strong. The UK also growing nicely, from $1.4 billion to nearly $2.5 billion. And you've got countries like Spain and Sweden showing notable growth rates too, around 4.6%, 4.5%. Even smaller countries, Luxembourg, Denmark, Switzerland, they're all adding to the pot significantly.
Europe's diverse food scene must play a big role there.
hmm
It's quite interesting how all those different national tastes, those traditions, still allow for this kind of consistent growth continent-wide.
So it's not just one type of cuisine driving it?
Probably not. I guess it's a mix. Traditional sauces holding their own, but also consumers embracing new, maybe more global flavors alongside them. It shows tradition and innovation can coexist even in a sauce bottle.
Tradition meets innovation. I like that. Okay, now let's shift gears and head east. The Asia-Pacific region, this is where things get really dynamic.
Ah, yes, the growth engine.
Absolutely. The market there was worth almost $14 billion in 2021, $13.945 billion. And listen to this, it's forecast to more than double to nearly $27 billion by 2033.
Wow.
Double. That's a CAGR of over 5.6%. Really powerful growth.
That is impressive.
China's leading the charge in terms of size, projected to grow from about $4.5 billion to almost $9 billion by 2033. But India really stands out. It has the highest AGR in the region, an incredible 6.6%. Its market is set to jump from $1.7 billion to nearly $3.7 billion.
Over 6.5%. That's huge for a market that size.
It is. And we're also seeing strong gains in Japan, South Korea. Singapore is expected to cross the billion-dollar mark by 2033. And Southeast Asia as a whole is growing really fast too, over 6.2% CAGR, going from about a billion to over 2.2 billion.
You know, the explosive growth there, it's just fascinating. It's more than just population, right? It reflects these rapidly changing diets, rising incomes,
Hmm.
a middle class that's growing and has more money to spend, and frankly, a bigger appetite for different kinds of food experiences. Global cuisines are making huge inroads.
So convenience plays a part too.
Oh, definitely. You see a big shift towards packaged foods, convenience items. Sauces fit right into that, adding quick flavor. Plus, think about urbanization, media exposure. It all accelerates these trends.
That context really helps understand the numbers.
Okay.
Okay, let's quickly touch on the other emerging markets. South America, showing solid expansion, set to grow from just over $4 billion in 2021 to nearly $7.5 billion by 2033.
Hmm.
Brazil's a big part of that, going from about $1.7 billion to over $3 billion. And Argentina actually has one of the highest KGRs globally, over 5.5%.
Interesting.
Then the Middle East, another area growing fast. Revenues jumping from almost $3 billion to over $5 billion by 2033. The UAE stands out with growth over 5.6% CAGR, and Turkey's not far behind at 5.3%.
Right.
And finally, Africa, forecasted to grow from around $1.75 billion to over $3.1 billion by 2033. South Africa is a key market there, projected to reach nearly $1.3 billion, growing at almost 5% CAGR.
What you really see across all these regions, South America, Middle East, Africa, particularly the Middle East, actually,
Yeah.
is this clear shift in consumer preferences.
Hmm.
People are actively trying global foods, they want more convenience, and they're spending more on packaged goods.
Hmm.
It shows this wider trend. It's going beyond just traditional local tastes. We're seeing a truly globalized palate emerge.
So, stepping back from all these numbers, what's the big takeaway here for you listening? What does it all mean? This dive really makes it clear, doesn't it? This isn't just about ketchup and mayo anymore, not by a long shot.
Exactly. It's a massive global industry, billions of dollars, and it's packed with cultural history, but also constant innovation. And it's driven by these powerful consumer desires for, well, flavor, for convenience, and for trying tastes from around the world. Think about sriracha's rise or all the craft hot sauces, or even the demand for organic or plant-based options now.
It really is amazing how something as simple, seemingly, as a bottle of sauce can tell such a big story about global economics, about culture swapping. As regional foods travel, as we all look for new tastes, the demand for sauces, whether they're spicy, savory, sweet, tangy, fermented even, it just keeps getting stronger. Our appetite for adding flavor seems endless.
Indeed. Which does lead to a final thought, perhaps. How is this huge, growing global demand for sauces going to keep shaping things? Our food systems, farming, maybe even our cultural identities going forward. It's definitely something to chew on maybe the next time you reach for your favorite bottle.
A perfect thought to end on. That wraps up today's deep dive. We hope you feel a bit more informed and maybe, just maybe, a little bit hungrier.
We often just take them for granted, right? Swirling them into our meals, a simple drizzle, maybe a dollop, a dip. But what if I told you that humble sauce isn't just like a flavor enhancer? That it's actually a titan of industry, a cultural ambassador even, and a fascinating battleground for health, innovation, and global food trends. Today we're taking a deep dive into something incredibly dynamic and, yes, flavorful, the global sauces market. Our mission really is to unearth not just the what, but the why. Why are certain things happening? We want to look at the key drivers, the challenges, and some truly innovative trends shaping this industry. And we're drawing directly from recent cutting-edge market research. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how something that seems so straightforward, just condiments, is actually this really complex ecosystem. It's not just about taste. It's driven by global trends, by consumer preferences that are evolving really fast, and some significant economic forces too. We're hoping to reveal some maybe unexpected insights about why certain sauces just explode in popularity and what truly drives their market presence, way beyond just the basic flavor profile.
Okay, so let's jump straight into that. What's really stirring growth in this industry? Because one of the biggest shifts I think we're witnessing is this revolution in our collective eating habits, our culinary adventures even. Think about how global our palates have become. It's amazing. We're not just exposed to international cuisines in restaurants anymore. We're actively looking for them for our own kitchens. And this isn't just about trying new things, is it? It's igniting this huge appetite for diverse sauces. Things like the tangy zest of a Mediterranean tahini, or maybe the fiery punch of an authentic Asian chili crisp. Sauces are becoming these indispensable ingredients, sometimes the very heart of a meal, not just an afterthought.
Right. And this culinary curiosity is hugely amplified by the booming packaged and ready-to-eat foods sector. That's a big one.
Hmm.
I mean, in today's fast-paced urban environments, convenience isn't just king, it's pretty much a necessity for a lot of people. But here's the interesting insight. Sauces offer what you might call aspirational convenience. They let consumers effortlessly elevate, say, a basic frozen meal or a simple piece of chicken into something that feels like a globally inspired dining experience. It bridges that gap between being time-starved in reality and, having that culinary desire. And this means sauces have basically secured a permanent critical spot in pantries all over the world.
That makes perfect sense. Convenience is, yeah, undeniably a huge driving force. But consumers aren't just sacrificing quality for speed, are they? In fact, there's this parallel, really powerful force shaping the market too, which is the surge in product innovation and the emergence of premium, often kind of niche offerings. Today's buyers are just more discerning, much more than before. We're actively gravitating towards sauces with health-conscious attributes, things like organic certifications, maybe exotic spice blends or low-sodium formulations, that kind of thing. We've seen, an estimated 15% year-over-year growth in global fusion sauce categories alone. That's huge. So this innovation, it doesn't just satisfy the health-aware consumer, it also attracts the foodies, right? The ones seeking those authentic, sometimes artisanal taste experiences.
Absolutely. But despite this strong momentum, the market does face some notable headwinds and some rather paradoxical ones, actually. Health concerns, for instance, particularly around high sodium and sugar levels, that's becoming a major factor. As awareness grows about lifestyle diseases, you see consumers scrutinizing labels like never before. They're cutting back on heavily processed condiments. Yet, and here's the twist, they still demand intense flavor. They don't want bland. So this pushes brands into really complex bioengineering challenges, reformulation challenges, stuff that goes way beyond just simple low sodium fixes. Unless brands adapt with truly clean label and health-friendly alternative that somehow don't compromise on taste, those traditional sauces might actually see a significant dip in demand.
That's a critical observation and raises an important question, doesn't it? Does this intense health scrutiny sometimes lead to products that compromise on the very flavor that makes us love sauces in the first place? It's a fine line. And beyond those consumer preferences, what other external factors are creating challenges? I'm thinking about things like fluctuating raw material prices and those ever-present supply chain vulnerabilities we hear so much about.
Oh, you're absolutely right to bring that up. Ingredients like tomatoes, spices, oils, even specific types of chiles, they're all subject to unpredictable price swings. That could be due to weather patterns, geopolitical instability, or just logistical disruptions, the usual suspects these days. And this isn't just about simple cost increases either. This volatility often forces companies into really complex hedging strategies, or maybe long-term supplier contracts to try and lock things in. Sometimes, to truly stabilize costs for a key ingredient, like maybe a rare saffron or a specific chili pepper, companies might even consider vertical integration, basically buying farms or processing plants themselves. These shifts can severely strain profit margins, obviously, and interrupt product availability, which in turn can weaken consumer confidence and ultimately brand loyalty.
Precisely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, we can't forget the sheer intensity of the competition out there. The sauces market is just saturated. You've got these global powerhouses right alongside strong regional brands, and the marketplace is just overflowing with similar products. This high density makes it incredibly difficult for newcomers to break through the clutter and earn that consumer loyalty. It often results in intense price wars, continuous promotional campaigns, which further squeeze budgets, especially for the small and medium guys trying to scale up or just get crucial shelf space in major retail outlets. It must be an absolute scramble for attention.
It really is a tough landscape to navigate.
But, there are always new growth paths, carving out opportunities, right? And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. A standout trend is the definitive rise of clean label and organic sauces. This isn't just a fad. It feels like a reflection of a broader societal movement towards personal health sovereignty, where consumers are increasingly taking proactive roles in managing their well-being. And this translates directly into a demand for radical transparency in their food supply. When you talk clean label, it's actually more than just organic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It refers to that consumer demand for ingredients that are recognizable, things you can pronounce, and free from artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, unnecessary additives. all that stuff. It's essentially a return to simpler kitchen cupboard ingredients, even when produced at an industrial scale.
Right. And this is literally prompting sauce brands to reformulate their offerings, focusing hard on ingredient clarity and those health-positive claims that align with wellness-focused lifestyles.
And building on that, we're also observing a rapidly growing appetite for ethnic and regional flavors. It's really transcending typical boundaries now, thanks to global travel, media exposure, cultural crossovers. Consumers are embracing flavors from all around the world more than ever before. I mean, think about the dramatic surge of Korean gochujang. It's not just in Asian specialty stores anymore, it's right there, prominently displayed in mainstream Western supermarkets.
You see it everywhere now.
Exactly. And whether it's the deep spice of an authentic Indian tikka masala, or the umami punch of a perfectly balanced Japanese ponzu, or maybe the vibrant zest of a regional Mexican salsa, these ethnic sauces are seeing an explosive shelf presence. Retailers and restaurants are actively expanding their menus and product lines just to reflect this multicultural culinary demand. It's a true reflection of our increasingly interconnected world, isn't it, where food becomes this delicious bridge.
Totally. And finally, we absolutely can't ignore the transformative power of e-commerce and digital engagement, all this. Online grocery shopping has surged, we all know that, and sauce brands are making the absolute most of this channel. You see influencer marketing sharing authentic recipe inspiration, compelling social media storytelling that highlights a brand's unique journey, vast digital recipe content. Brands are building much deeper, more personal connections with our consumers this way.
And e-commerce platforms aren't just for wider distribution either. They also provide amazing real-time consumer feedback, plus fantastic opportunities for tailored promotions and personalized recommendations. It makes them an indispensable part of the sauces market's growth strategy today.
It's almost an ironic twist, isn't it? In our quest for speed and convenience, we're inadvertently driving this renaissance in sauce innovation. It proves that even a quick meal can be a culinary adventure. So what does this all mean then? When you sort of boil it all down, we've seen that the global sauces market is this rich blend of tradition and innovation. It's balancing that aspirational convenience with rigorous health consciousness, and it's mixing a world of global flavors with a surprising demand for locally sourced, transparent ingredients. Despite those inherent challenges, like the paradox of health versus flavor and the intense competition, the sector is absolutely thriving. It seems fueled by smart digital strategies, the development of premium products that really do elevate our everyday meals, and just our ever-evolving, increasingly adventurous consumer tastes.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, understanding these market dynamics gives us a whole new perspective, doesn't it? On our everyday choices and these global culinary movements shaping what we eat, it kind of emphasizes that knowledge is most valuable when you understand it and can apply it. It encourages critical thinking about the very products we consume every day. So the next time you pick up a sauce, maybe consider not just its taste, but the complex journey it's taken to reach your kitchen, and the incredible interplay of consumer demand, innovation, and global economics that's packed into that single bottle.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What will the next big flavor be? The one that takes over our grocery aisles? Maybe something from a truly unexpected corner of the globe this time? Or how will that delicate balance between uncompromising health claims and that undeniable indulgence? How will it continue to shape the sauce options available to us? Maybe the next time you're reaching for a bottle, just take a moment. Notice those global influences and the industry's clever, often brilliant responses right there on the label. Food for thought, definitely.